Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. And as we all know, Tuesday is Hillary's favorite day of the week.
You say one thing once and people will remember it forever.
At least I will.
And yes, it is my favorite day of the week. Other than Sunday.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously. But within the work week, Tuesdays is my favorite.
Did you do anything special this Tuesday morning?
I made myself coffee, which
Okay.
I love.
Now we're having more coffee.
Now we're having more coffee, so I'm in a great place.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the most exciting thing about any morning, isn't it?
Yes.
Are you one of those people that wake up and you're like, oh, it's coffee time?
Kind of.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I don't need it right away, but there's like 5 minutes after I wake up, I'm just like, okay.
Oh, we set
let's
the
do
timer
this.
on our coffee machine. I want to smell that when I wake up in the morning. That's the first thing I want to smell when I wake up in the morning, you know?
You're fancy. I just have a Keurig because I'm the only one who drinks coffee in my house.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that your husband didn't drink
I don't
coffee.
understand it. He doesn't, I don't know how he survives without drinking coffee, but
I mean,
I know, right? I know.
we have to bring him on the show and ask him about this. I'm offended.
So I have a Keurig because it's just me. So
Right, of
there's no
course.
point in brewing an entire, like, carafe.
We
So
do
it's
a
just-
12-pot, like, full to the brim. And that's not me. I usually will have, like, 1 cup, maybe 2. My husband, I don't think it's healthy. I worry sometimes. I'm like, how's that adrenal gland going down there?
Well, I just saw that there was this study that just came out that says that having 1 to 2 cups coffee a day is actually better for your heart than they thought before.
What about 5 to 6?
And they didn't go into that detail.
Yeah,
Because
that's where
I'm a
he
like
lives.
a 2, maybe on a bad day I have a 3rd cup of coffee
Totally.
type of person, or maybe when I'm treating myself and I'm like, I deserve this 3rd cup today.
He's like black coffee, 5 to 6.
Hard pass on the black coffee too.
I mean, 5 to 6 at home, and then he goes to work, and in his dressing room, he has a little Keurig,
Yeah.
and he does this little, like, you know, before the show, and yeah, and then he's that person that can have coffee and then, like, fall asleep. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm like, I think you've destroyed something inside you. But, all right, we're going to move into hot topics. So, this is an article from the Wall Street Journal. Homes earned more for owners than their jobs last year. This is actually in the news this morning. When I was getting ready and listening to the news, people were talking about this.
Interesting.
So it is a hot topic. It's everywhere. Zillow will estimate home value, and its estimates rose 19.6% in 2021 to a figure that is slightly higher than the median U.S. full-time worker earned. It's nutty.
They estimated that the average home is worth $321,634, which to your point is up almost 20% to last year. So that was an increase of over $52,000 from 2020. Whereas the full-time worker in the US, their median income for a full-time US worker in the US is $50K. So that's a $2K difference in your housing. And that's just the median. There's definitely states where this is way more out of whack, which is crazy to think.
Yes, and the article was saying that the historically low interest rates mixed with the unusually low inventory has the market even more competitive, which, I mean, I've seen this with a lot of my friends were, after the pandemic, hoping to move out of the city. I think a lot of people were sort of flooding out of cities and looking kind of in the area that my husband and I moved just pre-pandemic.
Oh, right.
Oh my gosh. I remember us being like, is this a bad time? It was the best time. I'm so glad that we did it when we did it. Whew. But one of my friends was in a bidding war and bid, I think, $100,000 over the asking price and still lost. It's crazy out there, folks.
Yeah.
It really is.
I'm sorry if you're in it. It's a tough time to be a home buyer, especially a first-time home buyer.
Right.
That's the other thing that the article mentioned is that first-time home buyers might not have the equity in a current home to put out more money, so they're winning. Like
And they're
people who
competing
are
against investors, you know, people
competing
who are doing this
against
for a living.
investors or people who are already own a home and have a lot of equity, so they're able to put down more money,
Right.
maybe buy it for cash, just depending on a lot of different factors. So
Well,
it's just
because
tough.
you're bidding against people who might have an all cash offer, you know, and that's it is a really, really interesting and tough market
Yeah.
at the moment. And I'm sure we'll see a shift in interest rates
Yeah.
here in the near future.
Yeah. It was interesting. They mentioned specifically about San Diego and San Diego County, the huge disparity between the wages and home values. So
Yeah.
the median price of a home there is now $800,000, which is the average full-time worker in San Diego is making about $55,000.
Major.
So there's a huge disparity between being able to purchase a home, especially if you're a new home buyer in the San Diego area, versus actually getting equity in your home, because homes in San Diego rose over $160,000 in median value last year. So people who are calling up mortgage brokers or real estate agents and saying, hey, I qualify for a $350,000, $400,000 loan, there's just not inventory at that price point in San Diego or San Diego County, which is super sad. I mean, it's an awesome place to live. So it's understandable, but it's also really, really tough.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to have to wait this out, unfortunately. If you were a first-time prospective home owner, it's kind of sad, but hopefully we'll see a shift, you know, in the next few years.
Yeah. Sooner rather than later, hopefully.
Sooner rather than later, hopefully. All right, well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but we're going to talk a little bit more about real estate when we come back. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back to Hot Topics with Hot Coffee. I keep elongating the name. I just like Hot Topics with Hot Coffee. I don't know.
It works.
It's easier to talk about them when you have a hot coffee.
That is very true, especially when you're talking about real estate.
I know, in today's world, in today's market. But we are going to talk about real estate investing, preparing for an updated American dream. And this is from Forbes. So this article talks about, with the rising costs of real estate in the U.S., it is becoming harder for people to buy, which we know now. Some people have taken advantage of the market, selling their homes at a high cost and opting to rent. So there are those people who are like, hey, look at how much the value of my house has gone up. I'm going to, take advantage of this while the market's hot for a seller and rent. But rental prices are also going up.
Rental prices are also going up, and there's also some people who are taking the equity out of their house, or people who maybe can't purchase their first home for them to live in, and they're actually buying rental properties instead, and investment properties. And I think that's an interesting way of getting into the real estate market, especially if you are a first-time home buyer, is that you can leverage, typically for a investment property, you don't necessarily have to put it quite as much down. Working with the right bank will certainly help you with that, or lender. But then you can parlay that into a longer 30-year loan, and then possibly use some of the equity that you've gotten from your rental property into your own home, if that's that's the route you choose.
Well, and right now, rental properties, I mean, if you're an investor and you're looking to have rental properties, I mean, that is a very lucrative, I mean, at least right now in today's market. And that was actually as well, they were talking about that on the news today. There was a single family rental that a family of three, was a couple with their young boy. They actually had to leave because the price went from $3,000 a month to $4,000 a month, and they moved in with their parents. The family did, because I mean, prices are going up with rentals as well, but with that being said, it could potentially be a really good investment for those who want to have their own rental properties.
Yeah, and I think the article also, and the writer of this article, pointed out multiple times that getting an investment rental property isn't always, it's not going to be shouldn't be a short-term investment. It's a long-term investment, because you do have to put out so much capital at the onset.
They're saying it could take between 7 to 10 years to see any return. So you really have to be able to be patient financially as well and prepare for that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how long that takes.
Yeah, I mean, and it probably depends on which market you're in. Like if you're probably in a more urban market, you might be able to do something, get a quicker return. But yeah, it is, kind of crazy that it takes so long.
They did give us some suggestions on how to best prepare if this is something that you are interested in. Number 1, research widely. So that means know the rental laws in that area.
As well as tax laws and tax benefits that you might get from being a rental property owner.
Yep. Number 2, partner smartly. Find a reliable property manager and a contractor. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, most likely to get more bang for your buck, you're probably buying an investment property that needs a little bit of zhuzhing.
Yeah.
Maybe it needs a lot of zhuzhing. So depending on if you want to manage the property yourself or pay somebody to do it, make sure that you're partnering with the right people from the onset.
I mean, my husband and I, we don't own any rental properties, but we did buy a major fixer-upper. I mean, we did a full renovation, and our relationship with our contractor, we realized, was everything. You really want to have a good relationship with your contractor because you're going to be spending a lot of time together.
And a lot of money.
They're going to be all up in your business. And a lot of money, that's true too. Number 3, look closely. Pay attention to the neighborhood location, emerging neighborhoods, schools, amenities, public, access to transportation. That was like huge. That was a huge one for us. And green space.
Especially in an urban area. But I mean, I think this goes back to the hallmark real estate rule, which is, location, location, location. What's the first rule of real estate? And I think that that's true whether it's an investment property or it's your own personal property.
And who do you think you're marketing your property to? Like what is going to be like the things that they're going to be wanting most? Because you can never get everything.
No, you cannot.
So know your audience. and succumb to the fact that you can't get everything you want when you are looking for. Maybe you can. I don't know, but we definitely narrow it down to our top 3.
But
maybe you can.
Most of us compromise a little bit.
Yes, most of us do.
A lot.
All right. So number 4, borrow wisely. Finding a lender institution that offers some flexibility on down payments. Okay, and look for a lender who is responsive and communicative.
And has good customer service.
We learned about this on Mortgage Q&A with AJ. This is at least 3 lenders.
Yep. On the same day, so that you get the right rate.
Because it changes by the hour. See, we're learning things here over at ROI TV. Number 5, plan accordingly. Sounds vague, but we will explain. You will need to manage a plan for your property. Remember that if you hire a manager, that will reduce your profit. So you just have to kind of look at your finances and what you're willing to spend on a manager.
If you have free time and you're available to be around and be present, then you could probably manage it yourself.
Hey, maybe it's a passion project.
Right.
I want to manage this.
If you live in a different city, you might not be able to be available quite so often, or maybe you live in a different state. So just making sure that you have somebody there that you can trust, again, and that you're able to plan for that person coming out of your profit.
I feel like we talked about this on another episode with celebrity real estate fails, and it was, I can't remember which celebrity it was, but it was a man, and he owned multiple properties, and they all had managers, and that's where he lost most of his money.
I believe it was Nicolas Cage.
I believe it is too. I just forgot the name.
He also had some tax issues. We talked about that last week.
He was on another list.
He's had some issues with a lot of different financial areas of his life.
Yeah, because he's been watching the TikTok videos, and he hasn't been consulting a financial planner. See, it all just ties back together, really, over here. All right. Number 6, update judiciously.
I liked this one.
Yes, key to a successful rehab is to neither overdo or underdo upgrades to property. Don't waste money on fancy fixtures or materials. I mean, I think this kind of challenges a lot of people's egos, because some people feel like their taste, this was also on the celebrity real estate. Feeling like your...
Thank you, Mike Tyson and
Yes,
50
I love
Cent.
that you remember it, yeah. then you just, if you put too much of you in it, not that what you are isn't fantastic, but it might not be what someone else is.
Right. Exactly. And so they said, update it, make sure it's clean.
Yeah.
But you don't need to make it fancy. I mean, again, if that's the person that you're going after. If you're going after that high-end client, then yes, make some different choices. But really, for the majority of people, they just want a clean, safe, updated house.
But if you're into like taxidermy, maybe hold back, like put that in your house. Because I'd be like, no, thank you. Although my husband finds it really like cool. He was like, can we get like a fox head? I was like, no, we can't.
I think at the right location, I'm thinking, upstate or like a cabin. I'm fine with some taxidermy.
All I think is like, animal. I'm too on that, vegetarian. You know what I mean? I'm just like, you were alive and you're dead on my wall. That feels weird.
Mm-hmm. We had a friend in high school who had his dad was a big hunter, and so there was lots of taxidermy around the entire house. Mm-hmm. He was also the one who threw a lot of parties, and so let's just say the animals got involved sometimes.
Oh, I'm sure they did. See, they can become fun party friends.
Right? Things you never thought you'd learn about me.
Seriously. All right, what's next? Oh, number 7, prepare thoroughly. Make sure your financial affairs are in order.
And it also said to set aside about 20% of your profit for unexpected expenses or issues that might arise so that you're able to weather them if you either don't have a tenant in there for a period of time.
Emergency savings fund?
What?
Anyone?
In case you didn't know, you need one for your investment property too.
That's right. So everyone already knows about that. Number 8, last but not least. Wait patiently. Remember that this is a long-term investment, as we talked about, and you will not see profit immediately. With that being said, it is always important to have an exit strategy in place because anything could happen. Yep. So it's always about preparedness, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Thinking ahead.
Mm-hmm. But yes, I mean, this could be an American dream opportunity for a lot of people who are prepared to go into this world of investing in rental properties. Tell us about it if you are. Oh my goodness, we want to hear. Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to take another quick commercial break. We will be right back to talk about the shows airing today on ROI TV. Welcome back, everyone. All right, today on Mortgage Q&A with AJ, we have reached the end of the series where AJ goes into the different types of home loans and what you should be looking for. So be sure to tune in. On Cunningham Legal, Jim breaks down how to keep your assets private, both while you are alive and after you pass away. If you don't like people snooping around in your affairs, this episode is good for you. Today on Medicare School, Marvin will break down what Medicare will not cover today. On Elder Needs Law, Jason goes in depth about the Community Spouse Resource Allowance in Florida. This is a tool that you and your spouse can use when times are tough and you are seeking guidance. All great shows airing today. Please be sure to tune in on ROI TV on all of our streaming platforms, which are
Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or on your phone via our iOS or Android app. You can also now find us streaming on Distro TV.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Coffee with Kem and Hills. We will see you tomorrow, Wednesday, for another cup of coffee, some more hot topics, and some chats, because that's what we like to do. Mm-hmm. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.